Will Horizon Zero Dawn sell 6 million copies by the end of 2017 and 8 million lifetime? Here to discuss with me is, of course, Zach Sharps. Hey, man.
Hey man, cyber dinos everywhere.
Yeah, I finished the game, and it's awesome.
I know. You burnt through that thing. You got it on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you didn't really burn through it. I mean, it kind of is your job. I mean.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, so
Yeah.
But anyway, of course, yeah, the game, I'm not the only one that's loving it. It get a lot of great reviews. It's a huge title for Sony, obviously. I mean, they released the reviews more than a week before the release of the game, and we already saw this with Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us as well. So that's a good sign. They really expect this to be big, obviously, but it's a new IP. And now Superdata says that they expect this game to sell 6 million in 2017 and then 8 million lifetime. So if we look back in, let's say, 2019, we see, okay, Horizon Zero Dawn sold 8 million copies. Do you think that this is great, or do you want to go to the stats first? Because we collected some data from other PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 exclusives to kind of see if this is realistic.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you could list off the statistics. I would
Okay.
just have done the same thing. I mean, because if you look at Horizon and once you read off statistics, you'll see about where that would place this new franchise to be, rather.
Yeah.
So go ahead and read those off, and then we can sort of
Okay.
paint the picture a little bit more.
So Uncharted 4, of course, yeah, huge game. I think the biggest PS4 exclusive that has launched right now. So it sold 2.7 million units in the first week, and then in 2016. So it launched in May, so it has less time to achieve, that full 2016 like launch or sales than Horizon has, because that's of course launching at the end of February. Uncharted 4 sold in 2016 8.7 million copies. So obviously more than they expect Horizon Zero Dawn to do, but that's obviously, not really weird. This is Uncharted, this is very huge, a lot of people know this, and it's the fourth title, the biggest PS4 exclusives that it launched in. So then we can take a look at other games like Infamous Second Son, of course launched a few months after the PS4 launched. It sold 1 million copies in 9 days. So that was an achievement, because if games don't sell well, Sony doesn't talk about it. But if games do really well, we get a blog post on the PlayStation blog saying, oh my god, it sold really well. And they did that as well with Infamous Second Son. Then if we go to the PS3 exclusives, a game that is also like, you kind of can compare it with Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us. I mean, reviews also went out very early. A lot of people love the game. It's a new IP from a known studio. Of course, Naughty Dog, more people like Naughty Dog than they did Guerrilla with the Killzone franchise, obviously. But anyway, Last of Us sold 1.3 million copies in the first week. And then as of March 2014, so less than a year later, they were at 6 million. So yeah, but what's interesting, of course, to note is that this was at the end of the PS3. So yeah, a lot of PS3s were sold more than there are PS4s in the wild right now. Although it doesn't really, it's like there is a significant difference, but yeah, still. So we have to take that into account, of course, when, for example, The Last of Us Part 2 will launch. There will be way more PS4s, so that game will have a way larger audience. So if you compare these like sales, I think Horizon has a smaller audience than The Last of Us did at the end of the PS3 life cycle. So yeah, when we look at this, when we put this into perspective, they think that the Superdata, of course, the analyst firm, thinks that they will sell less than Uncharted 4 obviously did, but still be close to that. And I think that that's pretty significant.
I think it is as well, but what really strikes me as odd is they don't look at other things going on within the industry at the time, especially for Last of Us, because I spoke with you a little bit on Skype about this. What was really big during when The Last of Us hit? The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was near its peak at that particular time, and so everyone wanted sort of a post-apocalyptic zombie type game, and that's also when we saw a bunch of zombie survival games spawn up into existence and or begin their projects and whatnot. And so it was a big thing back then. Right now, I don't see really a huge hype for Cyber Dinos. It's a cool concept, I'm not gonna lie, but there's not like a huge phenomena about it right now. However, you mentioned one thing that actually kind of made me think a little bit today. The bundles. You know, everyone thinks about like Mario Karts and stuff like that Nintendo sells, or Wii Sports as really high selling games, but they're pack-in games as well. They're usually with like the console. So you got to look at that as an inflation of what the real numbers would have been, but because we can't really dissect how much profits are made from those, see how much of a sale it really was, what is it a pack-in, or did the developer actually, you know, make money from it, how much did they make from it, we just got to go with the raw numbers. And the raw numbers, when games usually are packed in with bundles, tend to fare pretty well. Like with Uncharted 4 benefited heavily from that.
Yeah, during the Black Friday period, it was one of the most sold bundles, like, and that also benefits the game, because people were just going out to buy a PS4. That was the cheapest bundle, because if you think about it, it makes sense. Sony they already broke even on this game. They already have a profit, so every game they sell after that is like a full-on profit. If they put that into a bundle, it just makes more sense, because they don't have to pay Activision for the Call of Duty bundles. So they can just have a huge profit. So put that game in there, and they're fine.
Usually it's not really that great of a situation for the developer, because Rocket League folks talked about how Sony basically gave away their game and gave them hardly nothing besides sort of a little bit of money to finish their game. So
it did help though, and in the end,
it certainly did help long term, but short term it can kind of feel a little iffy, especially for a single player game, right? Because there's not really besides DLC, there's not really extra revenue streams there. And then how much DLC will Horizon have, and how much will it cost, how much will sell? You know, it's a whole weird, messy situation, but it still fares well for a franchise to be, which is why all of this is really good for Horizon, no matter how this sort of pans out. Another example of a bundle, though, the Last of Us Remastered, that was bundled really heavily as well when that came out with the PlayStation 4. That was really one of the hit exclusives on the PlayStation 4, was a remaster. That's why everyone back then was calling it the PlayStation 4, like the remaster system, because everything was just remasters for a little while, until like Bloodborne came out and a lot of other, you know, bigger behemoths of exclusives like the Uncharted, and now we also have you know, Horizon as well. So there's a lot of ways you can look at this. I think that this number, just because there's already an established massive user base here, there's already the fact that they're bundling into the with consoles, and that's only going to catapult their sales, especially when we hit holiday and those
with the PS4 Pro bundle.
Exactly, with the PS4 Pro bundle and the Slim bundle, super cheap. Like, I could see these getting down to $200 easy during Black Friday, if not cheaper. So
and we also have to look at the fact, like, okay, I mean, they bundled like Uncharted 4 like in the holiday, so I think it makes sense for them to bundle Horizon Zero Dawn as a holiday tie-in with the bundle as well. Of course, we already see a bundle. Uncharted 4 also had a bundle, as far as I remember, during launch. So yeah, this makes sense. I mean, if we look at the rest of the year, we don't really see another huge pillar title that Sony can use to push the hardware without them losing money on it. I mean, if God of War comes out at the end of the year, that would still be huge. Then I don't see them putting that in a like super cheap Black Friday bundle, right? Because a lot of people will just buy the PS4 and then look at God of War as well and buy that separately. And yeah, they still need to sell a lot of God of Wars before they can break even on that. So yeah, I think that Horizon will be that push title for a PS4, $200 with Horizon. What a great deal that will be. I think that will happen at the end of the year, and it will also really help with the sales and make this get people used to this game, because if this is correct, if this game is really going to sell like 6 million in 2017, and even if that's like maybe different, maybe it will be 5 million, that's still huge for a new IP. So I really think that this will be a franchise. So that's also for Sony a reason to put that in bundles, to give it away to people, so that when the second one comes out, a lot of people know about this.
When it really comes down to it, though, since it's a franchise to be, that's definitely really, really good for them. And then the reviews coming in are pretty much expected. I didn't expect them to be like super glowing like this. I thought it was going to be a little bit more reasonable. Some of the comparisons, they're absurd, but when it really
like the Witcher one?
Yes, like the Witcher one, because even you mentioned like some of the side quests and stuff are kind of ish in your review, but
yeah,
you also didn't.
Not Witcher quality, but
yeah,
I mean the combat and how the game plays is like better than The Witcher in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I mean the game definitely looks really, really good. So it's really a good thing for Sony to be able to do this for a first-party title, though. To be expected to sell this well as a new IP is just phenomenal, because there was some people in our Horizon vs Zelda video that were mentioning, oh well, what about The Division? Oh, what about this particular third-party new IP? It's like, that's a third-party new IP. They sell completely different. So for a first party, looking at these numbers, they're exceeding expectations, I think. Like, I don't think that Sony, I think that Sony was of course confident. You're always going to be confident in your product, but I can't imagine that they were thinking this was going to blow up the size of like a Last of Us or a Uncharted, because it just...
They have only dreamed of that, like, that would happen.
They've dreamed of it, but man, there's people at Sony that are being realistic about this. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, we really wish this happens. It looks phenomenal, but like, we're just hoping it hits like this target. And if it goes anything above it, we're happy. And I think that it's definitely going to exceed that target, probably double that target by the time everything's said and done.
Yeah, I totally think you're right. And it's also like an open world RPG that's like super popular right now. And to have that exclusive to a platform, I mean, this is also like a lot of some third-party titles, like really the Sony fans and stuff like that, they play the exclusives because they're proud of that as well, right? They feel some sort of, it's their game, right? So they are behind that like easily, more than, for example, a third-party game. So that will also help. I just think that, and why Super Data thinks that, for example, this game will do really well is one, because of the reviews. Obviously we mentioned that as well. And also they added that its title releases at a key moment for Sony and the PS4, as it's releasing in a relatively quiet window for new releases, and during a time at which new PS4 sales have decreased, leading the platform to rely more on software sales. So that's also what they add.
EA, marketing.
Yes.
Poor
I mean,
too, man.
I don't know if it's a quiet window. I mean, we got Mass Effect around the corner. For Honor just launched like a sniper. Yeah, I mean, there are always games coming out, but it's like pretty packed as well. We have the Switch in the same week. Obviously, that's totally a different platform and stuff like that. But it does take away from some of the excitement. Like, if you are a PS4 owner and also a Nintendo fan, you'll probably look at the Switch as well. And it will just be, I mean, gamers or people that buy game stuff can only think about so many things. So I think the like, what's the word I'm trying to say, like the mind share for Horizon could be way better if the Switch was launching a week later. But still, this is so I don't really agree with that it's a quieter window. We have Ghost Recon coming out as well. I mean, there are a lot of games coming out in the
there's a lot of games, but it's also a time when they're not only are they releasing it, like they're the first out of that huge bunch. Right. So that really helps from a consumer perspective, because consumers, they want it now. So what will they do? They'll go out and get Horizon and they delay everything else because they want to play Horizon first because it came out first. But then you also have to look at the fact that the advertising is much cheaper, and so they've been able to advertise this new IP that people have not really known about, and they've also been able to get in the hands of press really early, so reviews are coming out really hyping it up, which is free advertiser from them. And then also on top of that, beforehand they were doing a lot of previews and stuff like that, so they've definitely exceeded what they needed to do to get this game into the minds of players. And now we're just gonna see how it does in the real world whether or not that tsunami of games, as I call it, because we're gonna get hit with the tsunami of games very soon.
Yeah.
At least I know I am. I mean, hell, Ghost Recon, and then I got a random game called The Exiled, which is formerly called Dostal, then Revelation Online, then also there's Mass Effect, there's Horizon, there's so much stuff around the corner. And so, yeah, there's definitely going to be a pressing of time, but I think because Horizon's smart and they came out first before the tsunami, I think they're going to be able to avoid it and reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it will be super interesting to watch this, how this unfolds. I mean, from what I see, there's a lot of excitement about this game, even more after the reviews, because everyone, yeah, including you, and that's obviously like logic. I mean, you were skeptical. I mean, it's a new IP, studio had never done this before, and yeah, it looked promising, but there were also some things that could go weird, like the story or something like that. Well, now we know it's all amazing. Yeah, that also like really helps. I can't wait to see their first announcement saying Horizon Zero Dawn sold XX amount, and then we can kind of do the math and see, okay, Uncharted 4 was at 2.7 million in the first week, so Horizon, if they are at 2 million or maybe even more, could they hit that target, that super data? But I think super data mostly is like over the top. They make these crazy predictions, and that's why everyone picks it up. But I think that they are on point here with 6 million in 2017 if the bundle started happening. I mean, the PS4 will probably sell 2 million units during Black Friday, during that November period, or maybe even more. And if like one or the half of them are Horizon bundles, you can already put 1 million on top of the things that they already sold. So I think they're fine. Really awesome. I can't wait to see what will happen. I can't wait for people to enjoy this game because it's really amazing. You're gonna buy it or rent it or
I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of thinking about buying it at this point, but then I have to.
You have a PS4 Pro and you have a 4K HDR display.
But
this is the game.
But then I have to go to GameStop twice, and I don't know if I want to do that, man, because I'm already going there.
You can order it from Amazon.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see.
You will not regret it.
We'll see. But go watch his review if you're skeptical. At least get some gameplay in your eyes and in your brain, and then go into the store and make your decision.
It's not really spoilery.
Oh yeah, yours was spoiler free, and it was a good review.
I watched the IGN review for 10 seconds, and they already spoiled like a ton of machines that were never shown. I was like, what the heck?
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah, it's an IGN special,
Okay, anyway, thanks a lot, Zach, for discussing this. We will maybe check back on the Horizon sales once we know more. But first, yeah, this game has to come out. Come on. Maybe if you watch this, the game has already come out. And then you're playing it, and then you're happy. Anyway, thanks a lot. Like the video if you did, subscribe for way more gaming discussions and Horizon content as well. Zach, again, thanks. And we will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
Watch his review.